The pale, sickly orb that passed for a sun in Abzu slowly climbed beneath the slate-gray clouds. There was something about the place that made people forget that blue skies were even possible. Your whole reality became clouds and drizzle and cold salt spray. And that suited Miria fine as she sat in the dent on the hood of the Econoline and stared out over the waves. Another friend lost in a sudden, bitter storm of violence. Another pointless, monstrous event in a series of pointless, monstrous events. And in her abyssal mood, she tried to figure out exactly when she had earned it all. She had tuned out the squid's probings when he tried to see if she was all right. Nor did she turn her head when she heard the gravel crunch under Kale's feet as he walked up beside her. Miria. Miria? Huh. Not in the mood to talk, huh? I get it. This isn't the first time I've seen something like this happen. It piles up, doesn't it? All of that death and loss and pain. We can't stay here. We need to decide where to be next. He took a step back in shock when she finally turned to look at him. Her puffy, tear-stained eyes now glowed with an inner teal light. And when she spoke both with her mouth and her mind.
You are absolutely right, Kale. There's no point in wallowing in my trauma any longer. Just give me a moment more. I have a question I must ask.
Welcome to Swords Against Madness, an experiment in gonzo storytelling and solo role-playing. I'm playing a solo game of Swords and Wizardry, amplified by other classic role-playing games like Traveller, and accompanied by solo role-playing tools like the Mythic Game Master emulator. First I play the game, then I turn it into a psychedelic Sword and Planet audio drama for your entertainment. Swords and Wizardry is based on the original 1974 through 1977 rules to Dungeons & Dragons. It is trippy, fast-paced, and lethal, just the way I like it. There will be no protection for player characters when the dice decide that their number is up. But I do keep this story PG, or at least what passed for PG in the 1980s. If you didn't see it in Temple of Doom, Goonies, or Gremlins, you won't hear about it here. So reload that three-bladed sword. Get comfortable in your studded leather kirtle or your chainmail bikini. Fire up the wizard band. It's time to get weird. Miria had been taught long ago how to create a mind palace. How to visualize with such absolute clarity that while in a trance, she could lift, touch, feel, and interact with the objects within it as if they were real things. Hers was a place of deep comfort for her, the Imperial's coin as it had looked long before she had sullied it with smuggler's work. Gray pentagonal hallways, each with a narrow bay of exposed conduits that glowed softly blue. The rest of the walls padded with a crisp, white, foam and fabric material. Light coming from LED strips embedded in the corners. She always entered by way of the helm of the Imperial's coin, but not the mechanical chair, yoke, and computer terminal she would have used in real life. Instead, on a pedestal sat the diamond, the first thing she had been taught to visualize using an ancient Buddhist ritual. She held it lovingly for a moment. Its weight, its coldness, its hardness was the first evidence she'd ever had of the true power of her mind. She could feel the all-knowing before she could see him, but in here he had a shape. A tall, man-shaped void full of stars, with eyes of violet flame. Here in this holiest of places she could be utterly confident. She could literally put her fears, her anxieties, her shame away in cargo lockers down the hall. But all the same, she felt nervous addressing him.
I know we don't need to talk, but
this is important, and you need clarity. The more time I spend in your brain, the more I understand.
yes, because what I'm asking is big.
I know what you're going to ask, but I will listen.
I think I might be able to bring them back from the underworld. Nala, Edric, Olan, Rhea. If there really is an underworld, then I can take them out of it.
The collective psionic power of religious continua can shape raw chaos into new planes, each with their own rules. When a whole culture believes in something long enough, it becomes real. The afterlife that Olan, Rhea, and Nala believed in, or something like it, has been created by the religion of Orbis. Their consciousness will have migrated to it, because that is what they believed should happen. With all the reckonings, judgments, and ceremonies that includes.
And can we go there? Can we go to the Orboran underworld and see them again?
It is possible.
Then I have a favor to ask of you.
Yes.
I won't abandon my oath. I am still dedicated to returning you to your home dimension. Not as long as it is possible to keep me from doing so. But I need to take a detour. I need some time and some patience.
I believe I understand. But just as you feel a need to hear me consent to this, I have a desire to understand why you intend this dangerous journey.
Traveling the plains is not easy and it's not safe. I hate to say it, but I just can't do it alone. And don't get me wrong, Kale's a clever, competent man, but it just won't be enough. What would I do if I lose him on the next plane?
Your history is full of years of space travel on your own, and hatred for your time being a part of the Triassic Continuum. This is incongruous with your past.
I'm arrogant. I'm an arrogant, selfish bitch. I have been an arrogant, selfish bitch for over a century. I've had nothing but my computer for company and lied to myself saying it was fine. But it wasn't. Most of the people of I couldn't care less about. But Olan, Rhea, Nala, Edric, they made me realize that I was not at my best when I was alone. And not everyone will betray you. There are good people who would even die for you. That is something I'd forgotten. Sometimes I thought my Gigi, my grandfather, he was the only good man in the universe.
I can feel there is more you wish to say.
For a long time, I thought that maybe I didn't deserve to have a person as good as my Gigi in my life.
That thought carries a dissonance.
You could feel that too? Of course you could. Objectively, he wasn't a good person. He was a tyrant like every person in my family was. He put down rebellions, murdered rivals, laid waste to a whole planet once. He refined a system of debt and indenture to keep laborers in our shipyards working through hard times. In many ways, he was only good and kind to the people he loved. I like to think power does that to people. But I know he could have been better. All idols are false idols, I guess.
What about yourself?
I'm not one of the good guys. I will keep my pledge to make Nar safe from Gorham and space pirates, corrupt priests, and whack-job gene splicers. But I'm not really doing it for the Narans. I'm doing it for me. Because Rhea and Olan and Edric entrusted me and were willing to fight and die for me. I want to pay them back. And I'm tired of being lonely and selfish.
I do not fully understand, but after all the time I have spent connected to your mind, I am beginning to.
What is that like?
Horrifying.
Did you just make a joke?
Yes, you are a bad influence.
I guess this is the part where I make my request.
Ask.
Will you give me leave to go to hell and save my friends? After that, we will head straight to the courts of chaos, and getting you home as directly as planar travel will allow.
You have my permission. Let us go to hell.
Hi, I'm John from Tale of the Manticore.
Robin from Stories from the First Watch.
PJ from A Wasteland Story and the Solo Roleplayers podcast.
Simon from Legend of the Bones.
Brian Rideout from Swords Against Madness.
Carl from The Lone Adventurer.
And I'm Trevor from Your Story Will Be Different.
And with our solo role-playing audio,
Narrative,
Actual play,
drama powers combined,
We are the Solo Roleplayers Podcast Network.
Usually accustomed to delving the depths,
Scouring the desert.
Surviving the wasteland,
or facing the dragon alone.
this time we have teamed up to bring you a curated collection
of the best.
highest quality.
Most dramatic.
And diciest.
solo roleplay podcasts in the world.
There are dozens of us.
So if you're looking for your next solo role-playing adventure,
Roll over to soloroleplayersnetwork.com.
Sample and subscribe to something that takes your fancy.
And discover your new favourite solo role-playing podcast.
See you there.
Mythic Game Master Emulator did a lot of heavy lifting for this part of the game. I found myself with a conundrum. It's going to be really hard to come by more PCs around here. The plains are a hostile place, and for good reason. I mean, if I was really willing to stretch myself, I could recruit angels or demons or strange otherworldly beings. Or I could very slowly integrate planar races like the Githyanki or the Bwoman, with substantial tweaking to make them legally distinct. And while toying with the idea of a crew of stoner demons driving around the cosmos in a wizard van was very appealing to me on some levels. I feel like my show already walks a fine line between the weird, funky, psychedelic pulp that I'm taking my inspiration from, and absolute Saturday morning cartoon insanity. And why exactly do I need to tread that line anyway? There's absolutely no reason why I couldn't step up from Thundar the Barbarian all the way up to Visionaries Knights of the Mystic Light if I wanted to. But I do worry about losing some of the grittiness I enjoy about this campaign. No matter how weird it gets, I always want my player characters to feel like once ordinary people who have been forced to do extraordinary things. If I ended up stacking my party with Barriers and Azamars and Tieflings, it wouldn't feel the same. I feel like D&D loses something as it becomes less and less humanicentric. This is more of a subjective and aesthetic argument than anything else, of course. But rather than spend an eternity trying to puzzle this out, or worse yet, accidentally fall into the trap of asking me what would please my audience, no offense, I decided to let the Mythic GM emulator do some of this lifting for me. I started by asking the question, will I be able to find a group of low-level humans and demi-humans I can recruit into my party somewhere in the next couple of planes? Which I set as unlikely. And as expected, the Game Master emulator said no. So I asked, will I be able to find a settlement where I might be able to recruit some people? Maybe back in Amber. The Game Master emulator said no again. And that's when I asked the big one. What if I went on an Orphic journey? What if I turned this van around and went straight into the underworld, facing its guardians and restless dead spirits and all kinds of other dangers in the process to bring my player characters back? Would that work? I rolled a 50-50 chance, and got a yes. Suddenly, this campaign took a whole new exciting direction. And personally, I love the idea of being able to bring characters back from the dead. My only problem with the way it is handled in D&D at this point is that it's a simple spell. And one that can be cast by a mid-level cleric, no problem. I felt like Dungeons & Dragons 3rd edition was on the right path to some degree, when they added the requirement that player characters provide a 5,000 or 10,000 gold piece diamond to raise the dead. This meant at minimum spending a huge chunk of a player character's treasure, and then only if you can just buy the diamond. Such a valuable item might be rare and require player characters to locate one by discussing things with sages and historians, and then perhaps raiding a treasure hoard, or fighting a dragon, or traveling to a distant city to get their hands on what they need. And with my players back in the day, it meant they hoarded diamonds even if they needed the gold, because they were worried I might just get murderous. But why even bother with the diamond? Why not require the player characters to undergo some kind of adventure to raise the dead? Maybe substitute the diamond for a holy quest? Or why not send them running around the world looking for a god's Ankh or the Kruoth? You could have easily back then used that 10,000 gold pieces as a guideline to what kind of monsters you were going to be running into. And as usual, I can point to Dungeon Crawl Classics for an example of how to do this very right. Goodman Games actually has a module designed mostly for 4th level player characters called Swords Against Death. In it, the player characters can learn about a hidden gate into the underworld protected by a cult. The player characters need to get the secret of where to find the underworld, make their way past a formidable guardian, and then navigate a dungeon in order to find the lost souls of their friends and bring them back out to the light day. All complete with horrible hellish furnaces and punishments for the wicked. It has to be one of my all-time favorite modules for DCC, and that's saying something. Once I got it into my head that this was going to be a quest to rescue the dead, so that I could have Olan and Rhea and Nala and company back, maybe not Garland, I got quite excited and asked a few more important questions. Would there be a powerful guardian? Yes. Would the guardian be unfriendly? No. Would Miria be able to find the soul of her lost grandfather? No. Would there be a major danger that the player characters would be stuck there themselves? Yes. Was there anything special they could do to protect themselves? No. I'd also considered asking if the All-Knowing would go along with this expedition. But that was one of those moments where I realized that you can overuse the Mythic Game Master emulator. And sometimes you're just better off using the game you're playing. And so I turned that into a 2d6 reaction roll with a +2 bonus, because so far Miria has been very respectful and built a working relationship with the All-Knowing. And thankfully I got a friendly response. All that remained was to share my enthusiasm for this idea with you folks, and make a few rolls to determine how many portals I would have to pass through, and how far apart they were. It turns out that this is going to be one hell of a trip. Cale found himself watching the ocean with the same disquiet as Miria had earlier. After her alarming reply, she'd gone into a trance, her mouth hanging open, her eyes blazing with a strange inner light. It seemed to last for hours, although it may have just been moments. Cale, for his part, had sat down on the hood next to her, swatted off a wasp that had been exploring her hand while she lay motionless, and then settled in, at least for a time, to wait for the strange mystical matters at hand to resolve themselves. He'd eventually gone back into the van to collect his diary and his drawing tools. The vast coils of Tiamat were terrifying to behold, and well worth recording. In fact, drawing them seemed to be the only thing that could keep his heart from sinking in this place. And even that provided joy for only so long. He found himself wondering if the bleak mood he was feeling was caused by the loss of Edric, by the simple dreariness of the landscape, or whether there wasn't something insidious about this place that clawed its way into your head. He sighed and considered his drawing for a moment, wondering if he really had the energy to detail any more of the scales, when Miria gave a start that made him drop his stylus.
Cale, gather your things. I'm ready to go.
You scared me. I was starting to wonder if you had broken your mind you were in that trance for so long. If I wanted to sit down next to you and be ignored while you stare off into space, I'd propose marriage.
And with that attitude, you'd make a boring husband. Come on.
Miria climbed onto the Econoline's driver's seat and fired the ignition. as Kale scrambled to toss his things in the back, close the rear door, and scramble into the driver's side. You seem like you're feeling a lot better.
I find if you're planning on doing something stupid, it helps to meet it with a smile.
Great. What are we doing that's stupid again?
I've already talked it over with the squid to see if it was possible. Then I talked it over with the all-knowing to make sure he was okay with it. We are going to drive this van to the netherworld. We're going to find Rhea and Nala, Olan and Edric, Raxton and Burl. And we're going to stage the ultimate jailbreak.
You mean to steal people from the land of the dead?
Yep.
You do realize that this is a crazy plan, right? There's no way that's any less dangerous than just the two of us trying to reach the courts of chaos.
If I get us killed along the way, we'll call it a shortcut.
Let's not take that shortcut. I'd very much rather have the van to get out. And it's the getting out that I'm more worried about.
Let me guess. There's a guardian beast, or we're worried about making a god angry?
Let's go with both.
We've already faced one angry god. What's one more?
Well, how come you've spent ages consulting with the squid and the all-knowing and not me?
Because I've already got you figured out.
Oh, have you now?
Edric traveled with me because he had an oath to fulfill. Olan and Rhea had a sacred duty. Raxton and Burl stood up for their community. But you're an adventurer. Wherever home is for you, that's the last place you want to be. The farther, the better. There's a whole cosmos out there with your name on it. And you'd never forgive yourself if you missed out a chance to see an important part of it. You and I are a lot alike that way. I also know you like your women bossy.
You must be pretty sure of yourself and your assessment to dangle that carrot in front of me.
I have well over 100 years of experience leading guys like you, sailor.
All right, you win. I'll follow you to Stygia. Gravel crunched under the wheels of the Econoline as it rolled up the beach, and then finally aligned itself with a great hoop of bone and driftwood and sinew. The gate on this side needed no special ritual. A cloudy reflection of amber appeared in the rain trickling through it, responding to the sudden and powerful will Miria had to pass through. She stopped the car just shy of the gate, taking a moment to load an 8-track into the machine, put it into gear, and then offered her hand to Kale.
Ready for adventure?
Let's go get our friends back. Miria put her foot down. The van lurched and rolled forward, passing through the hoop. For a moment there was a tunnel of color swirling all around them. And then they were through. Swords Against Madness is played, written, and performed by Brian C. Rideout. Editing, mastering, and audio production were from Stormhead Productions. All sound effects are licensed from Pixabay. The opening theme was King Edward by Mr. Smith, a Creative Commons by attribution song released through the Free Music Archive. This episode also featured Culprit Massacre and Jack the Lumberer by Alexander Nakarada. Slabfall and Stone Caravan by Vlad Anikov. Crystal by Tyler Gill. Dark November by O'Dennehy. Badland Ballad by Timothy Kulig. Post-Rock Trip by Abydos Music. Powerful Stylish Indie Rock Trailer by Sound for You. And Acid Core by Jumping Bunny. All courtesy of Pixabay. I also love hearing from you all. Don't be a stranger. Feel free to contact me on X at SwordsVMadness or swordsvmadness@stormheadproductions.ca if you want to email me. You can also find me on the Stormhead Productions channel on YouTube. If you want to support the show, please rate, review, like, and share with your friends. Or if you want to see just how weird I can get, check out my imprint, Death Trap Games. I have different games on DriveThruRPG and itch.io. This episode featured the voice talents of John Cohen from Tale of the Manticore as the All-Knowing. And as always, play hard, roll high, and think weird.